Oaktown.
Let's play ball.
Look out, here we go.
Here it is.
This is going to get ugly here. It is.
Hello, everybody. We are live here on YouTube tonight, and we have some special guests with us. We have Eric Romo from let me say it properly, Giant Sports Talk Live. And me and Christian obviously are here as well, and just hyped up to talk some ball for a little bit, and then we'll be going over to Eric and Glenn's, who has a channel, and they'll continue talking probably for a couple hours. I mean, there's a lot to discuss. We got the previews of the ALCS and the NLCS, and then we got, these past games, and then obviously we're going to talk Soto. We're going to talk Soto.
Definitely going to talk Soto. Welcome, Eric. It's good to have you on the show with us.
Man, it's great to be here. I appreciate the invite, guys. I love talking baseball. You guys know how I am, man. If we could talk baseball, I'm all about it. I like to talk about a whole bunch of other things as well. But yeah, baseball is where it's at, and it was an awesome Game 5, right? Yeah. You can't ask for anything better. I mean, the intensity. It's 0-0. Who's gonna crack first? Skubal is dealing, of course, right? Of course. And then lo and behold, it goes 1-0. And, I was a little upset with Vogt a little bit. I was like, why are you bringing in this Walters kid? He doesn't have it, dude. He doesn't. All he was throwing is balls. I was like, he's going to lose it. Right here and here. And then, of course, as soon as he hit that three-player max, he goes out and he immediately gets him out, which was the smart thing to do. Don't roll with him. I mean, it was early in the game. That was the fifth inning? Sixth? I think it was the fifth inning, if I'm not mistaken. A lot more baseball was to be played. So to see, but Stephen Vogt, again, he was pulling the right strings after that. And he brought in Herron. Herron got in a little bit of trouble, brought in that kid Morgan.
Yep.
And he got that. And I was like, come on, guys, there's 2 outs left. Just get that damn out. That's all you got to do. And Morgan came in and he got it done. It was awesome, dude. And then the rest, of course, the dramatics.
I thought with Skubal, like it was over. I thought, he looks so good up until today. And then the bases loaded. Oh, Lane Thomas.
Wow. I know. I mean, and it's crazy because it was only it was like 2 hits. I think there was a hit batsman. 2 hits. Was there I'm not sure if there was a walk in there. There might have been. I think there was a walk in there.
Well, the bases were already loaded when Ramirez got plunked, right? And I think, out of all the guys on that team, you're going to don't hit that guy because the rest of that clubhouse is going to just get fired up, right?
Yes.
And so, and it looked like he might have been hurt. So, I mean, those guys were probably just like, no, we're not having this,
That's a great point when you're talking about him being hurt because I got concerned because they said hand, and I was like, I don't think that hit his hand. You know what I think it was? Funny bone. And I think he just got that whole tingling sensation throughout his.
He caught it right in the forearm, right between the elbow and the hand. Part. Yeah. Yep. And those, the bone is there. So that they'll give you a zinger for sure. I'm just glad that he wasn't injured. He stayed in the game, and good for Stephen Vogt, man. It's nice.
Yeah. Right.
I'm all about it.
First time manager going to the the LCS.
Amazing.
I mean, unbelievable. And what I like about it is the ownership and the GM believed in him and said, hey, we want this guy to be our manager. I probably could almost guarantee they probably didn't get in his business. Let him conduct his business as a manager, right? Let him go out there and cook. And look where his team is. Awesome.
Yep.
Totally.
Yep. And another great example of a catcher going on to a management position and taking his team really deep in the playoffs. I mean, it just kind of there's too many now. It's not a coincidence.
No, it's not.
The catcher calls the game, so it makes sense he would go on to coach. Yep. Like he's been the plate, seeing everything, and he's calling the pitches sometimes and everything. So it totally makes sense. I think next year for the Giants is going to change a lot without Farhan being in there. Hopefully Bob Melvin can act more like Vogt and work on his own ideas and utilize some of the analytics, but also with a gut feeling like, hey, Lamont Wade can hit lefties. I'm leaving him in. I don't need to bring in Meckler from Sacramento. Like, all that crap can go away, and we can try to have a more everyday lineup. And I think that's how people build. You know, you get on these rhythms, and then you're hitting every day, and that's how you get in streaky hitting and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it.
I love it. And Greg, to your point, talking about catchers, they got the best seat in the house, right? They're watching everything unfold right before them. And not only that, you're doing your homework on these guys, talking about the batters that are coming up. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? You know, you're watching how the defense is being played according to whatever player it is. And you get the feel of the game. If you excel, especially, at one time I thought maybe Buster Posey would eventually be a manager. He totally bypassed that and went straight to ownership, and now he's president of baseball ops, which I think he's going to succeed. I mean, granted, is he going to have some stumbling blocks? Yeah, I'm sure he will. It's the first time he's ever done this type of stuff. But to your guys' point, it's a manager who was formerly a catcher who is able to get some of this stuff done, and it's great to see. It's awesome, and there's something I was just thinking about today too. Out of all 4 teams, right? Everyone talks about you got to have the starting pitching, you got to have the defense, you got to have the timely hitting, right? Well, when you think of pitching, you're thinking of the starting rotation. There's really only one team that has a good rotation. Everyone else is using the bullpen. The only team, the New York Mets, has a good starting rotation in Severino, Minaya, Quintana. Singa's back, but I think he's going to be more of a couple of innings guy. But look at everyone else. The way the Dodgers won was because of the bullpen. The way New York Yankees won was because of the bullpen. The
Guardians too.
The Guardians was because of a bullpen. So it's a little bit different than what we're used to seeing when we come to playoff baseball. Yes, bullpens are important, no doubt about it. I mean, we've seen that with the San Francisco Giants and winning their World Series. But we also had that excellent starting pitching. So it's a little bit different in how this one's playing out. Every postseason has a story, and I guess that's what it is this year, is the strength of bullpens.
Yep.
Well, we'll get to the National League in a minute, but what do you think going into this New York-Cleveland series? What are the keys for you, and who do you think has the advantage?
Man, see, both bullpens. I'm a little bit concerned with the Guardians because I think some of those bullpen arm guys are getting. Maybe it was Detroit just seeing them a bunch, and that's something that's going to play in a 7-game series, right? Is you're going to see these guys coming out of the pen every single night, right?
Sure.
So you're going to know the nuances of what they're going to do, but they're going to also get tired, right? So it seems like the New York Yankees bullpen, they allowed 0 earned runs, 0 in the entire DS. That tells you something. They're doing something right.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe Guardian right now. I think Guardians got a little bit of momentum because just how they won that Game 5, right? Going into that game, maybe they got we could do this. But the lineup, man, New York, Judge is going to have to step up, right?
Yeah,
he's got to stop, and I call it the Kershaw-itis. He's got Kershaw-itis, right?
A lot of guys
regular
do.
Season, yep. And then you get into the postseason, and all of a sudden,
you know what they're starting to call it in 2024 is Ohtani-itis, because show for 23 with 20 strikeouts. I love it.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Look, as a Giants fan, we have to say this. We do not want to see the goddamn Dodgers and Yankees in the World Series. This is what MLB's been promoting all year. And of course they want it for the money and the big players, Judge versus Ohtani and all that. I don't know if the Mets can beat the Dodgers. I was telling Christian before the series started, I wanted the Phillies to win just because I thought they had a better chance of beating the Dodgers. But we'll see. The Mets, I mean, they got Grimace.
Yeah, right.
The Grimace Mojo.
How can you? And you know what? I talked about this on the show last night over there on Giant Sports Talk Live. Is the manager? Look at this. I will take Carlos Mendoza over freaking Dave Roberts any day of the week. And look, this is only his second year. The guy knows how to freaking manage. The way he managed against the Brewers, the way he managed against the Phillies, I thought he was fantastic. He shows confidence in his guys, and sometimes Dave Roberts kind of has that befuddled look on his face when he's in the dugout sometimes. But that's just managerial. The Dodgers lineup it doesn't quit, right? 1 through 9. Kike Hernandez, what the hell, man? How's he come out there? Now,
he's a giant killer.
Giant killer, and he's a perennial postseason nightmare. I mean, look at what he did in Boston, right?
Absolutely.
Was he the World Series MVP at Boston? Something crazy.
He might have.
He's unreal in the postseason, and aside from the bumping of the Dodger dongs, hey, good for him, but what's going on?
What happened, man? I saw a great tweet out there, man. It's like, what happened? I remember days when Canseco and McGuire would, forearm bash, and now we got this. It's like, what? Get out of here, man! Get out of here.
They learned when Bellinger did that, he tore his labrum or something, right? He was out for 4 months. So I mean, I guess this is safer. They're wearing cups,
But to go back, who has the advantage? They both. I mean, Mets. Who thought the Mets were going to destroy the Phillies? I mean, so they got some momentum. Again, Dodgers. They had to go to a Game 5, but that was huge because those last 2 games.
The thing I'm worried about is the Dodgers have been really quiet with their bats. Mookie hasn't done much. Ohtani hasn't done much. Freeman's been hurt. Yeah. I don't think that lasts. I think eventually those guys wake up. That's why, I just wanted the Padres to win. Like, these guys are just get them now. Like, they're not, And who thought the Dodgers pitching was going to be the story? Everyone thought it was going to be the Dodgers pitching is what makes them lose. But man, it was. We're still hurting from that one.
I did not realize
24 innings.
I didn't realize their bullpen was that. Was it just this dominant in this series? Because honestly, I didn't know. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah, they overperformed in this series. I mean, Alex Vesia, come on, Giants pummel Alex Vesia, and a lot of other teams do too. So, and Trinan has been iffy the last year and a half.
He has been. Right.
He's got good stuff, but he's gone through some injuries, and I don't think his control is really there like it used to be.
Absolutely. His command is not there. Nope.
Yeah. So I think that the bullpen, I mean, it's going to be interesting because Roberts really leaned on those guys hard. I mean, Yamamoto is terrible. The starting rotation is almost non-existent for the Dodgers. And so he was in the pen every night. And I think every single bullpen arm got into almost every game in that series.
So that could be a wear and tear.
Could be a little bit.
And that's where I think the Mets have an advantage because their starters will go 6 or 7 innings, right?
We can hope for that.
Hey, forever Giant Sean Manaea, come on.
Dude, the dude is pitching holy. Same thing with Jose Quintana.
Yeah.
The guy is old as hell, but he's going out there and he's getting it done. Severino, he's probably the guy with the best, quote unquote, stuff. But you don't have to throw your bullpen every single game, as Christian was just alluding to with the Dodgers. And I'm telling you, get away with it maybe in a 5 game. I don't know if you get away with it in a 7-game series. I just
makes it harder. Makes it harder. You got to have starters that are going to give you, minimum 5 innings, right?
Yes.
In a 7-game series. I mean, if you get into game 6 and 7 and your starters are just not getting it done, then you can it's like all hands on deck with the bullpen. But if you burn them up in the first 4 games, it's trouble.
Well, is every 3rd game a bullpen game for the Dodgers?
I think so.
Could be.
Who do they have? They have what? Yamamoto, Buehler. And then
7-game series, that's not going to work, maybe.
I don't think so.
Let's go, Mets.
I know. and if you think about it, the Mets rotation is set up. You could throw out. Have they even announced? Here, hold on. Let me even take a look. Did they even announce tomorrow's starters yet?
I think Manaea's starting game 1.
Manaea goes in the first game, yeah.
So Manaea's going. Ooh. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, look at this. We got another visitor.
A visitor.
Look at this. All the way from Canada, the Dodger fan. It's my neighbor. This guy lives upstairs.
What's up, Glenn?
Hey, boys. How are you?
Hey, Glenn. How are you?
What's up?
Thanks for joining us tonight. We were just talking about the upcoming series with the Dodgers and the Mets. We know who you're taking, but we're thinking the Mets might take it.
Of course you are.
Come on, man! Don't root for the Dodgers. You can't root for the Dodgers.
The Dodgers bullpen is going to start running out of gas.
Oh, by the way, it's Sean Manai. Oh, not Sean. It's Kodai Senga.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Isn't it? Hold on. Let me make sure. Or is it? No. Wait, it's Sunday, right? Yeah, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow.
Kodai Senga versus Jack Flaherty. According to ESPN, Dodgers, of course, are the favorites -160. Well, Sean Manaea is going to go on Monday, and undecided for the Dodgers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I mean, there's the Mets. I think are set up as far as the rotation. The Dodgers, again, Flaherty, Buehler, and Yamamoto, and that's it, man.
And then Knack in a bullpen game every fourth game. So.
What do you think about that, Glenn? You think the bullpen, because now we're in a 7-game series. You think that bullpen gets a little bit worn out compared to? I mean, as Christian was saying, what's his name? How come I can't think of the damn manager from the Dodgers? Totally, Dave Roberts. He had to go to the pen all the damn time. You think they're a little bit worn out?
I don't think so. I think that this is playoff baseball, Eric. As you have a nice cold refreshment.
Yes.
Yeah, looks good.
Polliner,
you survived the honeysuckles.
There you go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Dodgers and Yankees. I don't care what the pitching matchups are. I just think two better teams. They're going to meet. Dodgers win the World Series.
I'm going Mets Guardians, man. That's where I'm going.
Of course.
What'd you think of that game? We didn't get a chance to ask Glenn that. What'd you think of that game today, huh?
What did you think? Did you see the grand slam?
Yeah, swinging the bat changed the whole outcome of that game. You know what? You can only ask Scooble to do so much, man. He has been a workhorse. The guy
100%.
He's won a lot of games for them. He didn't lose that game on them. It was again, I think it was just a simple case of the Cleveland Guardians had the better ball club. I was a little worried though early. If Detroit had won that game, I was of the belief that you could blame the manager. It's something Eric and I have talked about on Giant Sports Talk Live a lot. What the hell were they doing? Pulling a pitcher who struck out 5 of the 7 batters he faced in the second inning.
Right.
Mismanagement. I think too many managers do that in the postseason. It's all about them and mismanaging. I could not believe it when Cleveland went to the bullpen for the third inning. I double take. I said, I think he got 5. And 5 Ks in 2 innings.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I think we saw it in the Padres-Dodgers series when Schilt lifted Cease because he gave up the home run to Ohtani in his first at bat, and his second at bat, Schilt didn't wait. He just pulled him. And it was like, wait a minute, aside from that home run he gave up, he was pitching fantastic. I mean, he wasn't at his absolute best, but he was definitely holding the Dodgers down, and to pull him that early was nuts. Now, obviously, we found out in the second start that Cease had, he just didn't really have it, but in that one game, it just seemed like, wow, that's a really early hook, And I hate to see that because I want to see starters give a quality start. I want to see them go sick.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the Guardians live and die with their bullpen. They have probably the best bullpen in the MLB. And so they have the lead, and then they say, let's get into our bullpen. No one can score off them. And it didn't work.
Yeah.
I just thought it was way too early.
Do you think it makes me wonder if Vogt talked with Matthew Boyd and has said, dude, just give it everything you don't limit yourself. Go out there and go heavy effort every pitch. And then, hey, we'll pull you after 2. Just know, hey, this is, don't try to freaking stretch it out because your stuff may not be as good. So just go out there, give it all you got. We got your back. Maybe that was the conversation. I don't know. But hey, it worked. It almost didn't work with that Walters kid.
Matthew looked disappointed, though. They showed it on the television as soon as the manager went over, patted him on the shoulder, and it was kind of like, what? All right.
Interesting. Maybe not then. Maybe not.
Well, the World Series could be Boyd versus Manaea.
Yeah, true.
Man, too many forever Giants. Boyd never even threw a pitch for the Giants.
No, they got him. He was recovering from, guess what? Tommy John. Everyone.
TJ Maxx.
Freaking Farhan, dude. Anyways, so yeah, he was getting ready to come back, and before he could throw one pitch with the San Francisco Giants, they traded him at the deadline.
That's right. Should have done that with Luke Jackson. It would have saved us a lot of grief.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, Jackson was horrible.
Thank God. Hopefully those days are over.
Yeah, hopefully. And so, how scary is Emmanuel Clase?
Oh
Was
my!
He was throwing over 100
He's
today,
a
right?
beast, yeah.
Whoa.
Top dog.
All right.
He was
He's
throwing
what we wish
cutters.
Duval was.
His cutters are coming in at 100 miles an hour.
That's
mean,
pure
it's just
evil.
It is.
Pure evil.
I was surprised he was going to have him go 2, but I was like, hey, if you're trying to get the win, I guess that's what you got to do, right? But it was good. The important thing is because when the Guardians and they scored that 5, I mean, Detroit came right back.
They did. They
scored
were
a couple
fighting
more
back.
runs, right? They scored a couple more runs, got 5-3, got a little bit nervous. Then, the bullpen kind of settled down, and then Cleveland was able to put up 2 insurance runs just to make sure, hey, it ain't happening. It's done. And how about Stephen Kwan batted .550 in the DS? The kid can hit. Again, professional
Another Bay Area guy.
Yep. Professional hitters. You don't have to hit the ball over the fence, man. It's nice, but you don't always have to hit that ball over the fence. Just get the damn ball to hit grass.
Absolutely.
Hey,
So we need a
go
graphic up on the screen that it says only 7 more months until the Giants bat.
Yeah.
The hype, the commercialism of this Ohtani thing and all of it is just so gross. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but
Yeah, I was just like, they don't do that even for Judge. Like Ohtani's the only person they do it for. It's like the guy was he didn't get that many hits. I'll tell you that. He hit 1 home run first game, and then he pretty quiet the rest of the series. So
he was 4 for 24, if memory serves correct, in the series. So that's not great.
he does draw a lot of attention, though, good or bad. He's definitely a guy that sells jerseys.
Definitely.
I don't think he'd be saying the same thing if he was wearing the orange and black, though.
Yeah.
Well, no, of course not. But we all knew that was never happening anyway.
You knew it wasn't happening. It wasn't.
I don't think the Giants would have signed him and let him defer money and avoid taxes. Though they're too. They're not going to let that happen.
Do you think Farhan really has that brains? I mean, don't get me wrong. He's smart. I'm talking about the baseball brains to be able to do that kind of stuff. I just don't see it. But again, to Shohei, he's not just the face of the Dodgers. He's the face of the MLB. That's where his status is. He's the guy.
How do you feel about a guy that sits on the bench all game except for when he hits? It just seems very anti-athletic to me. I don't feel like I think Mookie Betts is more important.
That's a good point. Greg, you make up a great point. A DH, don't get me wrong. Big Papi went to the Hall of Fame because he's a DH. But there's just something about being out there. DH is good. Okay, for the guys who are kind of maybe they can't field like they used to. Their ability to field is just it's not the same. So you put him in a DH because his bat still can play. That I get it. But yeah, for a guy that just sits on the bench the entire time until it's time to get a bat in his hands, is that the essence of baseball, so to speak?
And how good is he going to pitch after 2 Tommy Johns? Only time will tell, right?
It's a great point. It is 2 Tommy Johns. I mean, it takes a big toll on your body when you have to pitch and hit at those levels that he is doing them at. Your body's going to break down, and maybe that's why he had that second Tommy John.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for Jung-Hoo Lee, whole season of him. And let's get into Soto talks. Are we getting Soto or what?
Glenn. We getting Soto, man?
Eric, is the chopper ready? Let the players on baseball crew know.
I'm telling you, man.
What you and I have planned.
Yes. I mean, that is – come on, right? I said this on the show. I don't know how many people are here that haven't been on our show, but, man, if you're trying to woo Soto, there's only a couple of things the Giants could do. pay the guy and make him to be the man. He could be if you're coming here to try to win a World Series immediately, this isn't the place for you, right? But if he wants to be the guy, I don't think he could be the guy in New York. I just don't. Judge is the guy. He is the king of New York. He is the guy. He could be in Boston. Does Boston go that route? I don't know. San Francisco 100% can. I know Blue Jays got a lot of money. They could do that as well. But if you're going to try to woo him, I said this. Instead of having his picture out there on the big scoreboard, which he's used to seeing, right? He's a damn baseball player. He's been doing it since he's 19. He's seen his face on the damn billboard. He don't care. You go put the top of the line helicopter in center field. You put him on a chopper. You fly him around Northern California and say, "This is your kingdom, man. This is it. This is yours to be had." And
wherever you want to live, you can helicopter in.
Absolutely. There you go. You need to be helicoptered in for every game. There you go.
I like it. Hey, because that light show was suspect last year. They need to brush it up on that. So maybe the light show is Soto coming in with a helicopter and landing in there, and then it's like, okay,
there
let's
you go. There
yeah.
you go. But in all seriousness, I mean, the guy, I mean, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. The way he hits, I mean, he's just a professional hitter, right? And he's young. He's in the right age. Because the way that the ownership has it and the agreement with the Players Association, they don't hit free agency for 6 years of control, right? Mm-hmm. And by that time, you're already 30 years old. But because guys like Harper and Soto came up so early, they were able to hit free agency at a time where you could get a lot of value out of them. Granted, you're going to have to spin out the nose, but you're going to have them. They're going to be good for 78 years after signing those contracts. And I mean, the guy just, again, does he have power? Yes. But does he always hit the ball over the fence? No, he hits doubles. He hits singles. I mean, he's just a professional hitter.
He hits at Oracle too.
Right. And he hits well at Oracle. And look, we got a bunch of young guys. You put them around, right? You got Ramos, who's showing that, hey, he was an all-star. His very first season in the major leagues he's an all-star. Tell me that's not a miss. How can you miss on someone like that when the very first time he gets a shot, he's a damn all-star? You got Tyler Fitzgerald who hit 280, right?
Yeah, he just needs to get better defensively. He was a liability at short. But Glenn, I want to ask you, do we need to worry about Bob Melvin and Juan Soto's relationship? Was there something weird that happened in San Diego which made both of them leave the team?
Oh, I don't think so. At this point, I think Bob Melvin's just going to be happy to have a job with the San Francisco Giants.
Okay.
He's going to be able to make his own lineup, and I'm sure that if he gets to put Juan Soto's name in the 4th spot every day, and none of this platooning, none of this crap, lefty, righty, I want a major league lineup. You don't see that you don't go to Philadelphia and see that. Oh, Schwarber won't be playing today. Sorry, I know the kids' birthdays are today, but no, Aaron Judge, got to send him lefty righty. I can't stand for that crap anymore.
Yep.
Bob Melvin, play the lineup. I think they'd make a deadly duo. And to go at Eric a little bit here, Eric talking about all-stars. What do we do with Matos? The guy comes up, all-star numbers, player of the week, 16 RBIs, and mismanagement.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
But it's also a little bit of the teams recognizing later how to pitch to him. At first, you don't know who this guy is. Then you see him, and then you say, oh, he misses this pitch, and then you start throwing the curveball a lot. And that's what happened to Casey Schmidt the year before as well.
Low and away, just burned Schmidt all year last year. And honestly, he got a little better this year. He wasn't chased quite as much, but still, they exploited the heck out of him, right?
Yeah. It's kind of in that same boat with Schmidt. He likes to go after those low and away pitches.
Yeah, exactly.
But to what Glenn was saying, too, talk about Matos, and you talked about this, Glenn, on the show as well. He was succeeding in the 5-hole, and then he decided to freaking lead him off. You're setting the kid up for failure because guess what? When he was batting in a 5-hole, he was batting when there was traffic. So the pitcher is more worried about what is going on, not really caring about what Matos is going to do, thinking he's young, and they're coming at him a little bit better. But when you're a leadoff, the pitcher's tuned in. He's ready to go after it. You're the leadoff hitter. I'm coming after you, type of thing. So that was a huge. That was
Farhan, right? Because that
was his mismanagement of this ball club, and now we're getting reports, rumors are swirling around that he was calling in the lineups.
Right.
What are we talking about?
Out of here.
Guys? Yeah. And I had a feeling the way he was playing things out, or the way Bob Melvin seemed to be managing a similar style as the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Two managers, same style. I'm like, something's shady going on.
Yeah.
Because it was a year ago. I've talked about this on the show. Being a Wilmer Flores fan, the guy hit 6 home runs in 3 days in Cincinnati. He was the hottest hitter in baseball for the week. He had a better average. The second spot was Shohei. So we're talking elite week.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wasn't in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
And you remember that's when they went on that skid in 2023 after that, because then they went to Washington and got swept in Washington. Remember?
Right.
No, it was just horrible. And again, we all were kind of calling. We were all blaming Kapler. You know what? Was it Kapler or was it Farhan that's telling them, "Hey, we don't want Wilmer in there"? Probably was. That's probably what it was. I wouldn't be surprised because that's what Farhan does.
Oh, the nuances between the two managers very, very similar.
Yeah,
it is, and that's what I said. The common denominator between those two and those managers are two totally different type of managers, but yet you get the same results. There's only one common denominator, and that was Farhan. That's why he's out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember early in the year, though, Bob Melvin did not manage the bullpen very well the first 2 months of the year.
True. That is true. That is true.
And again, was that Farhan?
Farhan? Right.
I mean, is Farhan, has he got his hand in the operation so deep that he's making decisions during a game?
Yeah, it feels that way. And I mean, I used to tell my dad, like, listen, Kapler's the symptom, but Farhan's the disease. And that was my take on the entire tenure. And even in the 107 win season when they just imploded against the Dodgers. And, it just was like, this is not right. I don't like this manager, but I also don't like this GM. Like they're both kind of bad, and now we find out if Farhan's phoning it in and telling him what pieces to move and all that stuff. Like, you're not a baseball guy. I'm sorry. You're a math nerd. You might be great with analytics and stats, but analytics and stats don't play. They aren't wearing the uniform. So,
well, you just jumped on something a lot of people say. He's great at analytics. Yep. Is he? It hasn't worked out.
It's worked out in small little slices of the pie, but overall, not so much.
Oh, I say when 6 years we made the playoff once, and this is nothing better than a 500 ball club. I don't even think we're as good as a 500 ball club. I think we get lucky.
Yeah.
So I don't think Farhan.
Well, and he just made terrible acquisitions, right? Terrible signings, terrible players, like guys like you said, and I've been bitching to Greg about this for a year. It's like, I want everyday players. I don't want this platoon BS. Mm-hmm. And Glenn, you said, I mean, we all agree on that. Like, it's like, I want to see a guy, the only days he's not going to play is my catcher needs a day off, okay? Or somebody gets hurt, or a guy's worn down, he's played 140 straight, he needs a day off. Okay.
Well, there you brought up catcher. What do you think is the future of our catching position?
Yeah. Casale's gone, Bailey's staying, and Murphy it's pending. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know. We know he signed for another year, but whether or not he plays him,
Murphy's TBD.
Yeah, exactly. Greg and I disagree. I want to see Sable get a shot at being the backup guy because Sable's bat plays, right?
I saw him hit a home run in Sacramento. I saw that game when I went to go watch Eldridge play.
But look, we already talked about this, but Buster Posey, catcher, Bob Melvin, catcher. They don't want to see a bad defensive catcher on their team. And Sable's not he's not up to speed with it. How many freaking interferences did he have?
Yeah, he had a lot of catcher interference.
It was just, I love the guy. He's got big heart. He wants to play, and he's a great hitter, it looks like. We don't really have a spot for him, though. And there's a lot of guys on the Giants in the minors that we don't have spots for. And to me, that's like, let's just get rid of those guys and get people that we need positions for. Why is there not a shortstop itching to play in the like a good shortstop. We don't have one. Like,
you know why? Because
Luciano was supposed to be that guy, but
there you go. They whiffed. They whiffed
Yeah.
on it. I mean, Farhan even said in the beginning of the season, "Oh, Luciano's going to be our shortstop." But what wound up happening? He went on Nick Ahmed because they knew, and they knew at that point. So at that point, they should have had him in the minors, saying, "Okay, you're going to go play the outfield or a different position." Why they kept him at shortstop, I have absolutely no idea. Stupid, criminal.
And is he playing fall ball right now and learning how
Good
to play
question.
outfield?
I don't know.
That's what I heard they were
maybe winter
do.
ball, maybe
either winter ball. Or, yeah, it's just like, dude, we don't need him in the outfield. We're gonna have an outfield. Believe me.
You know what would have been great for Sable if Eldridge wasn't coming up, is to have put him at first base.
Yeah,
he's got the length and the size to be a good first baseman. But again, with Eldridge coming up, you ain't gonna block him.
Do you think Sable is better than Encarnacion or no?
Ooh,
because I liked Encarnacion. I'd like to see a little more of him maybe.
When he made contact, every time he made contact, it was coming off the bat hard, right? So, I mean, he showed something. I think he showed something. What does it mean for his future? I don't know, honestly. And real quick, to go back to the catcher stuff, Bailey's not without his errors as well behind the plate. Granted, he loves the frame, but he also gets a lot of pass balls with that framing.
Yeah.
Because he's more worried about trying to bring that glove over which way it's coming, from up to down or left to right or right to left. Sometimes he whiffs on the ball, and there goes the ball behind the backstop. So he's got to be careful. That may be changing, depending on what they do with the balls and strikes, if they're going to go automated or not. But don't get me wrong, he's got value. He could freaking throw it down to second base.
Bailey needs to just stop switch hitting. He needs to just only hit left-handed. That way he doesn't have to do twice as much offensively, and then he's gassed by the second half. He needs to be defensive and just hitting left-handed and see what that happens. It's like his arm is really good. Like he was throwing out Ellie De La Cruz trying to steal. That's impressive.
That's impressive.
So I'd like to see him just work with Buster and Melvin and maybe grow a little bit from two legendary catchers. We'll see.
And it makes sense.
Eric's favorite Tom Murphy will be around, won't he?
And again, it's another contract, and again, Christian, you talked about all the different signings. I mean, goodness gracious, man. His free agent signings absolutely are atrocious. La Stella, Haniger, Stripling, DeSclafani,
Ahmed.
Nick
Ahmed. Like Greg said earlier,
Blair.
Greg said we got guys who were brought in by Farhan, and he said, Luciano's my shortstop. Do you realize that pretty much on a day-to-day basis, we had guys playing positions that Farhan had a representation on this team. He didn't want Ramos out there, did he? First cut, training camp, he wouldn't have been up
first cut.
If there wasn't an injury.
Right.
So this is a total mismanagement of the ball club and the lineup
100%.
and the roster, and as a result of who he brought in.
And think about it, if you're a youngster, right? And your whole life is, I need to make the big leagues. And you're playing good in AAA, and then you finally make the big leagues. You're up there for a week, you hit a home run, and the next day they send you back down. That just zaps your whole soul. You're like, I'm not worthy. Like they need
because you're going to face a bunch of righties. You're going to have to go down. Ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. Man. Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, I was at one of those games where Colorado was in town, and it was the day that they beat them 11-2, and Matos had 5 RBIs in that game, and I was thinking yes, finally this guy's here, and then they start shifting the lineup and doing all that stuff, and a week and a half later he's back in Sacramento, and I was so depressed because I saw him what he's capable of, and whatever happened, he went through a slow week after that. And they didn't hesitate to send him back. It's like it's sink or swim in the big leagues. Like you got to let guys get the reps, and they're going to go through slumps, and that's part of the learning curve. And
the funny thing is, I saw the majority of the first month of the season. I did a little road trip. I was down in San Diego, and isn't it ironic that at the beginning of the year, the guys who weren't doing anything, a la Nick Ahmed and Bob Melvin and Farhan said, we got to give it, 45, 60 days. Give them a couple of months. They got to play themselves out. But my God, a rookie prospect in this organization comes up and has one bad game or makes one error. Get him the hell out of here.
Yeah.
The irony.
To your point, Glenn, you were in San Diego. Remember in the beginning of the season, someone was on the IL for a few days. Who was it? Was it Yastrzemski? It was Yastrzemski, right? Wasn't he on like paternity leave right off the rip? The first week of the game, and they brought up Matos. And what happened to Matos? He never played. I think he came in. He came in for a few innings when Flores went over the rail. Right?
Yes.
They had to get a first baseman, and they brought someone who was in the outfield to first base, and then they put Matos out there. But they never started him the entire series. It was Yaz, because remember we were making accusations, if you want to say, hey, they don't want Matos to play because if he plays better than Yaz, and what do you do with Yaz? Because you just signed him to freaking $10 million, right? It was just
exactly. And Yaz is kind of the fan favorite a little bit.
Well, if they're on top of it,
great defensively, but his strikeout rate and his just pop up in crucial situations. These fucking guys too. At the end of the year, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but they did exactly what Brandon Belt used to do: hit home runs when they're winning 8-0, pad their stats, and at the end of the year, the back of their card looks like they had a good year. But we suffered the whole year through the important times. That's got to change.
You know what? And that's the point I was trying to make about going out there and getting Soto. There's other guys out there. Don't get me wrong. They got a bunch of power. But more times than not, guess what they're probably doing? Striking the hell out. Especially in crucial situations. Now, Adames is a little bit different because he was hitting in the clutch. That's valuable, right, during a season. But still, I just wanted someone who's going to go out there and bat you 270, 280, and just play some really damn good baseball. I want to see baseball. I didn't go there to watch the home run, walk, and strikeout show. The three true outcomes.
It's hard to get into a routine too when you come to the ballpark. You don't even know if you're going to be in the lineup. You play 3 great games, and then there's no reason why you're sitting on the bench, but you are. How do you get into a routine? Then you come up 2 days later, and you got to start swinging the back at the field again. The guy's got to play every freaking day.
And I think we're going to see that. With Buster Posey being the president of operations, I think we're going to 100% see that. The team might actually perform, but even with the same roster, they might perform better for that simple fact that the everyday guys hopefully will be out there rather than, playing those small incremental percentages on lefty right-up matches. I like
Eric's idea. We just end up with the Soto in there and
Bo Bichette.
Nice pieces around him. Bichette
and Max Fried.
You convinced me last night.
You got to look at.
I'm in.
See,
I think Fried is going to be cheaper and more dependable. On average, Snell's going to have some really amazing games. But Fried is going to be consistent along, and Bichette we can trade for. So as far as
who do you give up, Greg?
Well, that's going to depend.
Guys were in our chat the last couple of days talking about, trade these 3 guys. I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, see, everybody wants to trade people that we don't want. So why would the other team take those people?
No, they won't.
We're probably
got to give up
Harrison or one of these pitchers. I don't know if they'll take Luciano, but it's going to be a package deal for sure.
And if we're going to be rebuilding this ball club under a new GM, Buster
it could be Fitzgerald.
Greg, you can't use that word you just used. I don't want to hear the word. He's cheaper. I don't want to hear cheap and how we're going to spend the money and get the best players available.
But here's the deal:
don't use the word cheaper,
because you're saying cheaper, but we looked at the numbers. Max Fried is better than Snell. He is. He's better than Snell, but he's going to be cheaper. You know why? Because he doesn't have the Cy Youngs.
And the reason I'm saying that is because we don't need just Soto. That was the whole reason I didn't want to get Soto, was because I felt like Giants mentality would be like, okay, there's our guy. And it's like, no, we need a shortstop. We need a pitcher. We need some help in the bullpen. We need a few things. So if we could get a Fried instead of a Snell and then get a Soto and then trade for Bichette, all of a sudden we're looking really good.
Yeah.
You know what? I just thought about this. Now, Bichette, he's going to be he's in the same boat as Vladdy. He's going to be a free agent in 2026.
Right.
Granted, but he's not going to cost as much. I don't think you're going to have to give up a lot. But I'd be willing to give up Harrison. Landon Roop looks like he's way better than Harrison.
Yeah,
at this point,
Birdsong
right?
too.
Birdsong. I think Birdsong's going to be in there. I'd keep Wisenhunt though. I think Wisenhunt might be better than Harrison again because he doesn't have that herky. I don't like every time I watch Harrison pitch. It just I get bugged by it because
he's kind of like Lincecum. He's got that like real
it's violent delivery, a little bit of lack of control, and I think it's because of his mechanics that he has that problem.
Yes, he can't replicate that every single time. It's too difficult. And that's why. And if you notice, remember when he was touted as being the best left-handed pitcher in the minor leagues, and he was in the high 90s, had a slider, but he comes up to the major now. He's barely. You're lucky if you get 94 out of him. And again, his secondary pitches aren't exactly like wipeout type stuff.
And I think maybe since they fired Farhan, they can tell Hicks, hey, that was the past regime. You're in the bullpen now.
Yes,
because he came to San Francisco because they were going to give him an opportunity,
and he will excel there. Because can you
imagine him the 8th and then Walker in the 9th?
Yes, and then hey, think about this: Eric Miller, he's going to be better. The kid he has an arm. You got Eric Miller, you got Hicks,
Rodriguez,
you got Tyler, or not Tyler
Rogers.
Well, because I think you got one more year, but you got Ryan Walker. And you got Randy Rodriguez, who's got electric stuff. I mean, they got some bullpen pieces. I'm not too worried about the bullpen. And even if you needed to get a guy, it's not hard to go get a bullpen guy, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's the starting pitchers. That's where you got to do some magic.
$10 million for Taylor Rogers. That is just.
I know, right?
Mind blowing.
I know. I think this is the last year, right?
They need southpaw pitchers. Really, is what I think. They need lefties. I think that's really like the one sort of gap where it's like, we could use another lefty or two. But I like most of what's in the bullpen. Doval's a big question mark. Who knows? Maybe he's a piece. Maybe you move him. Maybe you move Casey Schmidt, Doval, Luciano. You can get something big in return for those guys, right? I mean, they definitely.
I don't think so. Who's lining up to take Doval?
Well, Glenn, you're in Toronto. What do they need? Do you follow the Blue Jays at all? What do you think they would want from the Giants?
A starting pitcher. They'd want Wisenhunt.
Right? No, nobody. Probably Wisenhunt.
Okay.
Elkins, of course, but
anybody else they take, they would just be doing them a favor taking them. It would be part of a deal. Just you got to
not Doval.
Like in my fantasy league, I made a few deals this year. People laughed because I took a guy and they're like, what are you trading for that? And then I released him 3 minutes after the deal was done.
Right.
I just did it to get the deal done. Blue Jays, I don't think, and that's a thing that happens in our chat over in our show a lot, Eric, is a lot of the fan base, San Francisco Giant fan base, come into our show every night. They seem to think we have this crop that everybody's just oozing to picking up the phone every day. Can we get him? Can we get him? I don't think the phone's ringing.
Well, you never know. I mean, there's more bad teams in the league than good ones, right? And I strongly
there's more bad players on this team than there are good ones.
Well, that's true too. But I'm a firm believer in change of venue. Look at Dubon, right? Look at what happened to Dubon when he went to Houston.
Oh, that's why
he turned into a superstar in Houston, right? So
Eric, I think Luciano could be a star if he went to a team like the Miami Marlins.
Right. So all you have to do now is convince those teams that that's what's going to happen when we ship that turd over there.
Right.
Great.
Imagine Luciano as a Rocky.
Ooh.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Right.
Somewhere where there's no pressure and he gets to play every day, something he didn't get in this organization.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Talking about no pressure. That's a great point because I think, look what he was, you know what? He kind of fell in that whole Joey Bart thing. Who did Joey Bart have to replace? He had to replace freaking Buster Posey.
Yeah.
Who did Luciano have to replace? Brendan Crawford. It's not easy, man. Those are big shoes to fill, and there's, the game is hard enough, right, to play, let alone having that extra baggage on you. Oh my God, I'm replacing this guy.
And
Greg, we go to a lot of games just down the street, and between not knowing who was in the lineup day to day and the fact that there was no identity on this team. Nobody was. If you go to New York tomorrow and I call you up and say, Greg, I'm going to Yankee Stadium, you go, oh, you're going to see.
Right. Yep.
Philadelphia, they're lucky you're going to see 3 or 4 different players.
Yeah, Trey Turner.
Fill in the blank.
Jesus.
San Francisco. Who are you rushing home? I got to get home from work early, and I got to get a bite to eat. I got to get to the ballpark because I'm going to see.
But see, that's where Snell was that guy every fifth day.
There's no star. They need the star power.
It's true. Yeah.
They do need.
I mean, when your hottest selling jersey is Mike Yastrzemski, a minor leaguer from Baltimore, this is again another situation where the fans think he's so great. They gotta. What did I say to you, Eric, about 3 months ago? Clean freaking house.
Well, we gotta wind down because you guys.
And if you're gonna trade, don't be afraid to trade the guys that are in there that you think are gonna stay. If they're going to get better, maybe you got to unload a Matos, a Ramos.
Sure.
There's 3 or 4 other players you could, a Luciano, but you're going to have to give up something you think is good to get better.
But
you have to give up someone to get someone. Yeah.
Here's what I want to see from Bay Area fans. I want them to pick a lane because I'm sick of we want Soto and then they get Soto and they're like, you overpaid for him, blah, blah, blah. Like you can't win if you're the Giants. It's like, if they get Soto, don't care how much they spent for him. Don't care how many years are. We got the guy.
Yes.
That's it.
That's all that matters.
Greg, I say that on our show a lot too.
Yeah, you do.
Talk about Jung-Hoo Lee. I said if he had a freaking sign with the Dodgers, everybody would have been shitting on them for the whole year. Yeah. And then all I heard all year, I like the guy. Wish we'd have seen him play ball all year. All I heard was, you overpaid for him. Well, if he went to the Dodgers, you'd be crapping on that decision.
Yeah.
So you can't
sometimes how much they paid for him.
This organization can't win.
Unless the price of tickets go through the roof because we get somebody like that, don't care about how much they spend on anyone. They should.
Well, it was the reason why I was able to go to half the games this year for less than a season ticket would have cost. $5 and a penny.
$5 night.
Or $30 gets you in and you get a free hot dog and a beer.
So great.
$13 and you get a $17 coupon to use. It's like this, you're paying me to go to the game.
That's why
Eric and I were in another chat earlier this year, and I used to tell everybody, I'm heading over to the game tomorrow. It's $5. And they're like, I call BS. You're not going to the game. I am. Right, Greg? The Levi price, $501.
Nights, yeah. Oh, yeah, they did the 501 one where you could just pick a bunch of games. But sometimes on a Tuesday night versus the Rockies or the Marlins, it's just $5 at the window.
There you go.
Yeah, so and I'll buy standing room only and just go sit down in Field Club because nobody's there. It's
one's there.
Yeah.
I went to 3/4 of the games this year for about $600.
Wow.
We have the 415 package.
Yep.
Gets us in early.
Get in early.
Pick your game, whatever game.
See some
and then the games that are $5, $10. Bernice and I are there.
Nice.
Cool.
Wow.
Can't go wrong. I mean, you can't see minor league baseball for that price.
No, you can't.
Right. $30 to go see the Winnipeg Goldeyes here in a 10,000 seat stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a major league game, it's costing you $5. That just tells you something's wrong.
Yeah, parking's $50, but the ticket's $5.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh. Hey, thank you guys for joining, man. I know you guys are going to start your thing at 8:00 over at Giants Sports Talk Live. Get over there. These guys are the best in the biz. They've inspired us big time. Watching what you guys do.
Oh, Jesus. The show's going to be a complete and utter disaster tonight, putting us on a pedestal like that. Eric, I don't like the pressure. I don't like the pressure.
We'll close down over here, and then we'll see you in a little bit.
I give up.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, thanks for the invite, guys. Appreciate
thanks,
it.
buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Big love. Yeah, cheers.
Thanks, pal.
See ya.
Later. That was great.
Great.
Guys are fun.
And I got to apologize to Johnny and Christian and whoever else was out there leaving comments, but I've never done 4 people at one time. So appreciate you guys tuning in, but this is a big night for us. We got our little background skin. We got some sponsors up here, Trader Sam's. We got Double Play. Christian's been killing it with the artwork, and it was just a big opportunity for us to get those 2 guys in and talk major ball. But the championship's going to be nuts, right? I mean, you got two teams in New York playing for the World Series. So imagine that. Every night there's a game in New York.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The people in New York are hyped up, and it's either going to be a Rust Belt team, or it's going to be East Coast, West Coast, whatever you like. But I'm definitely pulling for Cleveland. I think they got a shot. We'll see. And the Mets, total wild card.
Who has a better shot, Cleveland or the Mets?
I want to say Cleveland, only just based on they've been there right at the top now for a couple of years. These guys have got the playoff experience under their belt. I don't think they're going to shy away from it. And I think their pitching's pretty strong. As far as the Mets, I'd love to see the Mets do it, and I think they can if they're still carrying a little bit of the magic that they had, right at the outset of the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see if the Grimace mojo is strong.
We need Grimace to perform. Whatever he's been doing, we need to put that on fucking maximum overdrive and beat LA, because I don't care nearly as much if the Yankees are in the World Series. I don't want to see the Dodgers. Yep. There was a thing that they put out, MLB put out today, and I think it was the last, I want to say since 2000, maybe since 2000, 2004 or something, to the present, each year, the National League team that went to the World Series, out of all those years, that's 20 years. Yeah, it was 2004 to 2024. There was not one San Diego Padre.
Right.
They've never gone to the World Series in 2000. Oh. Yeah. So I guess we should have expected that they were going to not pull it.
Well, they've never won one in their history, in their entire history.
Huh?
Nope. And
Dave Winfield went with the Padres, didn't he, 1 year or no?
I think they've gotten to the World Series
a couple of times.
2, maybe 3 times. Yeah, but they've never won one. So they're one of the few title-less teams, and it's unfortunate because they got the talent, I think.
And they had the energy this year. I mean, their place was rock and roll, and it was great. And I really thought they were going to do it. They started out the first 3 games were electric, and then halfway through the 3rd game, their bats fell asleep and they never woke up.
Yeah, there's that. And I do think losing Musgrove it didn't help. I think if they had Musgrove, because he's pitched the Dodgers really well. And to all of a sudden not have him, I mean, Cease just wasn't it. And Michael King was good. I mean, Darvish was incredible. But it just losing Musgrove, I think, was it might have demoralized them a little bit. I mean, certainly it didn't show in the first couple games, but seemed like they just seemed a little bit defeated in the last 2 games and just didn't go their way. So I think they played admirably. I was stoked to see them get this far. I wish they had gone further.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the cool thing is it all starts up again tomorrow.
Yep. We're not going to be missing, big break in baseball until the off season. So it's going to be exciting any way you slice it. I think the games will be good. I think the teams I think they're going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of scrap in these games. So we'll see.
And Flaherty looks like a little bit of a little crybaby.
He's a hothead. He's been that way since before he came to the Dodgers. He's gotten in a lot of dust ups with guys and yelling at guys. It's not new.
I don't want him as a Giant. I want Fried, Burns, or Snell. Those are our 3 options as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, those are the 3 starters they should go after. Nobody else is really worth gambling on, right?
Well, it's cool, man. This has been a fun one tonight. Those guys are just a riot. And if you're still here, head over to Giant Sports Talk Live. These guys will crack you up, and they have a lot of energy. Don't think just because they were on our show that they're going to fizzle out. They're nuts over there, and there's a bunch of people chiming in, and Carter will come in and predict the game, and it'll be wrong every time. He always picks whoever he picks, go with the other team.
Oh yeah, you see the shirt I'm wearing, Schmitty? Look at that.
Oh, yeah,
it's the metallic, like hologram ski goggles from
from when they won the championship.
Better Times. Yeah. My grandma, who was 99 when she passed away, gave me this T-shirt for Christmas.
Oh,
I think it's the 2012 or 2014. So it's been sitting in my closet, kept it pristine just for special occasions.
Well, since I got appropriately the Giants fall league team. Since the fall league's going on, I got to tune in to fall league. It's going on, so I want to see what's going on. Maybe we can have a little update from some of the guys that are down there. I think Eldridge is playing for them.
Yeah, it'd be good to see what he's up to, and I got to figure out where to watch those games. Just got to get a way to watch them. So I don't know if it's on MILB or what. I'll take a look. If I find out, I'll tell you.
Okay. Well, thanks to everybody for joining us, and I'll probably go over and shoot the shit over there for a little bit. Me and Cheryl have been watching The Penguin. I don't know if you watched that, but it's pretty good so far.
I'm waiting for the series to complete so I can binge watch them all in a row if I want. I hate, like Westworld. I was getting deep into it, and then it was like, I got to wait a week. No, not doing that. I hate doing that.
The only reason I don't like doing that is then spoilers come out and you hear what happened before or something.
Yeah, I just try to ignore all of it, and binge it. I mean,
you're gonna love it though.
Yeah, like Netflix spoiled everybody because they drop a whole season of a show at once, right? Like
totally. No.
Watch so many series on there where it's just like, oh, the new season's out, and you can watch it beginning to end. What was the show with Jason Bateman where he was
Ozark.
Like Ozark was badass, and it was like when they dropped a season, you could just watch, and that was a hard one to stop watching. It's like, it's 3:30 in the morning, but I gotta watch another episode.
That was really good. Yes.
Great one. Cool, Schmitty. All right, well, it was good to get those guys on. It was a fun one, and
let's go, Matt.
The game's going on.
All right, take care.
All right, you too, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Skaters on Baseball. If you liked what you heard, please spread the word, give us a good review, or hell, blow us up on your social media if you're down. Follow us at Skates on Base on Instagram for baseball news and other fun stuff. We love comments and listener participation, so bring it with an audio clip or an email. You can email us at skatersonbase@gmail.com. We're everywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll be here all season long.
Let's go, San Francisco. Let's go, Giants.
I'm excited to give everything that I have for these next 6 seasons and, see where it takes us.
They can't say it anymore, Complete game, shutout, no-hitter, leave me alone.
Adios! Pelota!
See you soon. Thank you.
And I am forever a Giant.